So if you're noticing some redness around my nose or a different quality to my voice that you're having trouble putting your finger on, I'm sick. That's also why this is another whisper video. I apologize. I apologize to my viewers who prefer soft speaking. But that takes me a little more vocal power than I have at the moment. But I promise I'll make it up to you soon, okay? So, today I'm going to do a show and tell of a new pair of shoes. New is a relative term. I bought them a month or so ago now, but you know, it's hard for me to open something and use it when I like it a lot. But I think I picked a good pair. I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of them once I can break the seal, so to speak. Oh, I guess I should clarify, rather than assuming you'll go back and watch those other two videos in which I'm sick, the ones I filmed earlier today. But of course, I won't be uploading them all at once, so for you it's been a few days. But in those videos I explain, at least in one of them, I explain at length that I don't think I have COVID, but of course I will be tested. I did actually just go. The sense of time is all warped. I did go just to get a test done, and I'll get results in a day or so, so I'll keep you all apprised of that situation. But I think I just have a cold. A pretty gnarly one. Like, I'm pretty symptomatic even on a shit ton of Dayquil. By Dayquil, by a shit ton, I mean the normal amount, because usually I take half doses because of my size. Like, if there's a children's amount, often it's the same for all children over 12 and adults alike. But if there's such a thing as a children's dosage, sometimes that's what I take just for my body size. But I went whole hog. I've been doing the Dayquil, NyQuil rotations. I'm just trying to get enough rest to recover. I'm not trying to mask my symptoms and push or work through them, although arguably I shouldn't be making 3 ASMR videos today. But regardless, I think I know my limits, and I'm trying to rest. I will, once I'm done filming this, I will dissolve, I will melt into a little puddle, and I will stay on the couch in puddle form for the rest of the day. And I'm taking lots of zinc and eating lots of garlic and doing the more reputable homeopathic measures, taking the more reputable homeopathic measures, steps to try to recover sooner, rather than later. I, of course, believe the most in zinc. I just think there's the most data supporting zinc. That's with a Z. It's kind of hard to hear. I think a neighbor is on a Zoom call. Can you hear that? I apologize. It's a Sunday. It's actually a pretty quiet Sunday so far. So far I've been super thankful to get more filming done than usual. But yeah, someone's on a Zoom call somewhere, and Mr. Crow is always by our side. Never too far off. But yeah, I'm a big believer in zinc. I just think there's a lot of data to support 40 milligrams a day, shortening the duration and lessening the severity of the common I say I'm sick, whatever it is, even if it's COVID, it feels manageable. It feels manageable. It feels manageable. It feels relatively mild. Getting really denasal. Do you know what I mean when I say denasal? It's that sick voice. I can't go with you. If my nose looks more red, it's because I just sneezed big time. Almost sneezed my lashes off. And I'm cutting around that. I hope this isn't super gross for you or triggering given the past year and a half. I promise I'm a very hygienic person. But I'm sick all the same, so it's okay if you're like, nope, not for me. Click exit. Okay, so today I wanted to show you a pair of shoes. As I was saying, a pair of shoes that I bought a month or so ago. So not really a haul. One item does not a haul make, maybe a micro haul. But I'm really excited about these shoes. I don't buy a lot of shoes these days for obvious reasons. I guess not so obvious anymore. We're going out more and more. We're out and about safely within reason, more certainly than we were a year ago. And for a long stretch of time, not just a year ago, like as a finite moment, but we're out and about more than we were for a long time, unless you're currently in a shutdown. Even then, I'm sure you remember a time that was more like deep quarantine. And I certainly wasn't buying any shoes during that time. Like, I wasn't going anywhere. That was the era of like press-on nails and waking up crying. I don't mean to make light, and I'm sorry if referencing these things so casually is harmful to you. I'm gonna move on from the subject. It's just like, it's hard because you talk about the ups and downs of your experience. For a while, a lot of us were having the same experience, a kind of convergence globally. I mean, not across the board. The virus definitely spread at different rates in different places, but there was a kind of global syncing up. And since then, as some countries have had the massive privilege of more widespread vaccine availability, vaccine rollout, in this post-vaccine world, relatively speaking, because some countries are still struggling with vaccine access and availability. But in the world since the inception of, since the successful creation and implementation of this vaccine in some places, now it feels like we're all on different timelines. And opening back up, having scares, shutting back down, different governments are taking different approaches. So as I talk about the vicissitudes, the ups and downs, the highs, the lows of my experience, I just want to be thoughtful, cognizant of the fact that someone else could be having a completely different experience right now. And at this point, a lot of people have lost a lot already. Some people have even lost dearly months and months ago, even well over a year ago now. So everyone is on such a different timeline, and I would never want to lose sight of the fact that we're not in the clear, and I have things I stand to lose. Still, the worst may be ahead for me, so I don't want to get stupid. I want to stay safe, and I'm trying to reflect on my behavior lately and notice some ways I've taken as a bone. I feel like they're never gonna, well, never is a strong word, but I am doubtful that they will divest from their bountiful use, their heavy use of leather anytime soon. They're a leather company, a lot like Coach, you know? So let's take a look. So yes, these felt somewhat Doc Marten inspired. So they are these kind of gladiator style sandals, but they have like a 1.5 inch platform. Might be more than that, but I think about 1.5 inches. And they're heavy, which I don't mind in a shoe. I grew up having to wear Doc Martens to school, you know, as part of a uniform. So it's a kind of grounding feeling for me. The heavy plod, the kind of undertow of of some densely massive shoes. So I don't usually wear anything flat. I don't know if these qualify as flats, but I don't even wear anything particularly level ever, if you know what I mean. Like, I know creepers aren't really flats, but they're level, and I don't tend to wear anything like that. So I wasn't sure if I would like these. But I tried them on, and cockroaches.